And then my question is, have y'all been to space? Have you been to space?
No, Gail, I haven't been to space yet.
I feel super connected to love.
Not Catherine. Catherine Elizabeth Hudson. Don't piss me off.
Gayle King has confirmed that Katy Perry did sing in space, despite gutted viewers not being.
Shut the fuck up. Just because Donald Trump the president don't mean we fucking stupid.
What is good, and welcome on another episode. If you are new, welcome on the channel and thank you all for your support. If you watched the last video, it was a conversation on people's reaction to the first ever all-female crew flight to space, and the empowering moment that it was supposed to be for people and how it didn't turn out the way they thought it was going to turn out. Two women launched into space as the first ever all-female crew to go into space, and they were there for 11 minutes. Now I've seen the price breakdown. Some people were saying it cost one person $700,000, and some were saying they used 11 minutes and the entire trip cost them about $11 million. People are saying the world is falling apart, and all this billionaire care to do is to spend $11 million to go visit the space for freaking 11 minutes, just 11 minutes. Some saying they said they thought they were going to be there for a year or even there for a month. And the whole drama that came out of this entire trip is just making rounds on TikTok. But one person's name that has been going pretty viral out of the 6 people on the flight is Katy Perry. Katy Perry has so many reactions, from going there with a flower, coming and kissing the flower when they landed, to kissing the ground, to the song they said she sang, and how that became a beautiful moment for Gayle King. Like literally, when Gayle King was asked what her favorite part of this whole trip was, she said it was when Katy Perry started singing. What a wonderful word. Lord, it's getting so many people riled up. Katy Perry had so much drama, and even the speech that they have been giving since the 11-minute trip is even getting people more hungry. But people are having a lot of things to say about all the reactions that Katy Perry had on visiting the space. Because like someone said in my last video, these billionaires went to space to get a bragging right, because there's no reason why they wasted that amount of money just to visit the space for 11 minutes, and they are not even real astronauts. Without wasting much time, let's just get straight into what the people are saying. Okay.
$700,000 for the ticket. They're saying it was $700,000, but I'm pretty sure it was more than that. When are we as a people going to... Oof, I almost said something. Y'all know I'm radical. Rich people continue to show that they don't give a about us. But that's okay, because their time will come. And I hope I live to see it.
We're so connected, more connected than you realize.
Imagine having to literally go to space to discover the same basic empathy that the rest of us learned in grade school.
You just see right here, you see states and all these things that divide us, but we're not.
You mean borders? I swear, this was like watching a pageant contestant try to prove that she's had deep thoughts during the question round of competition. Borders. You're talking about borders, literally.
I feel super connected to love. So connected to love. I think this experience has shown me you never know how much love is inside of you, like how much love you have to give.
Do you know what this is giving? This is giving tech bro that had to pay thousands of dollars to go do ayahuasca somewhere before he finally gained sentience at the age of 25 and learned empathy. I'm so glad that you feel so connected to love. Personally, I would love to be connected to affordable healthcare. That's just me. You might be connected to love, but you're also very disconnected from reality.
I hope they can see the unity that we modeled and replicate that.
This level of patronization is honestly impressive, because the only thing y'all modeled quite well is the quintessence of faux feminism, with your glamour shots of slightly unzipped boot-cut spacesuits, with your hair down to bring a little bit of spice to space, as Lauren Sanchez said, which is in and of itself already a perpetuation of the patriarchal stereotypes of what feminism looks like, in addition to being a pawn and a tool for what is nothing more than capitalist consumerism, only available to the elite.
I think that we have all felt that sometimes we weren't worthy or we didn't belong.
I mean, you're not worthy. The only thing that made you worthy of this opportunity is the fact that you're a rich celebrity. Because the thing is, there were plenty of actual women astronauts and scientists that were worthy. But in your own words, this was about taking up space and making space, which you certainly did. You just didn't take up your own space. But then again, this is coming from a person who not only thinks the concept of woman power is an original radical concept for an album in 2024, while simultaneously appropriating bisexuality like it's a costume specifically for the male gaze, and not to mention stabbing women in the back by working with a known sexual predator for the purpose of a somewhat desperate comeback. I don't know. Feminism, yay! It just really doesn't help, this virtue signaling posturing, if you will, in the name of self-worth and feminism, because this just didn't have anything to do with self-worth or feminism. It had everything to do with being a glorified commercial for what will ultimately come down to an elitist IG post responsible for approximately 83 tons of carbon per person. Because who was this for? Literally. It certainly wasn't for the beautiful Earth, as Katy Perry said prior to the flight, when she expressed that she thought that the main takeaway was going to be how we need to protect our Mother Earth. Because if that's what you cared about, you could have just not gone. You could have just not gone to space. And thank you for recommending this experience to the everyday person, but again, this wasn't for us either, considering a seat on an earlier Origin Blue flight was auctioned at $28 million, and initial interest requirements for a seat start at $100,000. Regardless, this doesn't benefit anyone, because listen, I'm not against costly space travel and exploration. I'm all for innovation and evolution and exploration, but this wasn't about that. This was about ego and corporate wealth and marketing.
You'll never know the amount of love that you have inside of you to give and to receive until the day you launch.
Well, sucks for the rest of us who'll never be able to afford to launch. Guess we'll never know. Kim, there are people...
I'm not going to sit here and pretend that Katy Perry does not have some absolute bangers in her catalog. But I'll be lying to y'all if I said that this is not a strange woman, to say the very least. There is something about her. I don't know what it is. I have not yet pinpointed it. But something about her, I can't really get down with it. I don't know what it is. Now, anyway, I don't know if y'all heard the news, but Katy Perry was amongst a small cohort of women who were sent basically to space for all of 11 minutes. No, literally 11 minutes. They went to space for 11 minutes. Now, this trip, I guess, was sponsored by Jeff Bezos and his new rocket company, because that's what you do when you become a trillionaire. You create rocket companies, right? So, yeah, she went to space for 11 minutes with the likes of Gayle King and some other relevant individuals. And the moment she came back, she literally kissed the Earth. Now, this would make sense for, those astronauts who were stuck out in space for close to a calendar year, and then Trump and Elon had to basically rescue them. Yeah, that would make sense for somebody like that. But if you went to space for 11 minutes, but this ain't even the worst of it. It was the moment that I heard the words that were coming out of Sis's mouth.
It is the highest high, and it is surrender to the unknown,
literally.
Trust, and this whole journey is not just about going to space. It's the training, it's the team, it's the whole thing.
Though.
I couldn't recommend this experience more. This is like up there with all the, different tools that I've learned in my life, from meditation to the Hoffman process. This is up there because what you're doing is you're like really finding the love.
Now, of course, Sis found a way to make this all about herself. It's a journey of self-discovery. It's a journey of finding yourself and trusting yourself and loving yourself. By yourself, I mean me, because I'm amazing and I got to go to space. But then it gets worse. But at the very least, it at least started to make sense for me what the hell is actually going on here, right? Y'all might have noticed just for a slight moment there. She said, I would highly recommend this for everybody. Now, why would she be recommending this? Well, turns out that it is indeed a service that is being provided by Jeff Bezos and team. But there's also an incentive
for yourself, because you got to trust in yourself on this journey. And then you're feeling the love when you come down, for sure. And you're feeling that strength. So I feel really connected to that strong, divine feminine right now.
By the way, you're such a badass. I love that the month of April, you're like, I'm going to space and I'm launching my tour.
Turns out it's $1 billion tour promotion.
Why would anyone care about Katy Perry going to space for under 10 minutes? Coming back to Earth, kissing the ground like, oh my God, she's been there for fucking months. All this is doing is quite literally adding more bitterness to the people that are watching. And rightfully so. With the financial hardships that everyone and their mama are going through right now, these little distractions like Katy Perry going to freaking space are just not working anymore. Because if anything, they're just showing the difference of quality of life between them and a fucking billionaire. And you might be asking, Charles, why are you talking about it if you don't care? The main reason I'm talking about this is not because of Katy Perry's glorified Uber ride to space. I'm talking about it because of the outrage that the internet is having about this situation. And the internet is furious, rightfully so. Families are quite literally living from paycheck to paycheck. I almost had to drop $20 for a carton of eggs the other day. And the last thing I think anybody wants to see is a billionaire going to space. The disconnect is insane. With that being said, thank y'all for listening to my TED Talk. Go out, be great. Peace.
Katy Perry and Gayle King are just insufferable. Insufferable. The only STEM-related thing that Katy Perry or any of them on that fucking glorified carnival ride participated in was that flower stem Katy Perry was holding. Now Gayle is coming on interviews talking about the people are angry because, they're saying that there's things that need to be done here on Earth and that this was just a waste. But when you participate in space exploration, you explored a fucking tax write-off. What are you talking about? What exploration were you a part of? You weren't even really deadass in space. Maybe if they had actual women who have trained and worked towards becoming astronauts go to space, that would have been cool, right? But this is what it really boils down to. They spent unfathomable amounts of money to let people who make unfathomable amounts of money take a fucking roller coaster ride so they could make a pun that is shallow as shallow can be. Take up space. Give me a fucking break. This isn't about feminism. This was the equivalent of normal people going skydiving or bungee jumping. You just have more money, so you got to experience zero gravity for a little bit. Whole time they're on their phones. They're not even looking for real. They're just using their phones as a fucking photo op. But trying to pass it off like they've just done the most feminist, insane, quote-unquote, out-of-this-world thing that's ever happened. Give me a break.
Katy Perry is getting the flack for going out to space because she consistently misses the mark on every social issue that there has been in the past year. Someone with a top psychology degree convinced her that this was going to be groundbreaking and change the lives of American people. Girl, you used to speak for a huge community of people. How do you do this and not realize how insensitive and disgusting this is? The only intelligent life that she's gonna find out there is the realization that no one here asked her to come back. You spent $10 million, girl, literally to not even go to space, but to realize that money cannot buy self-awareness. They replaced her with Carrie Underwood on American Idol. This was her big moment. This was her moment. I'm gonna spend money and go to space and fly around with the asteroid. Imagine being so rich that you're not even interesting enough to be invited to anything on Earth, so you gotta fly to space. They didn't even do that for free. You had to pay for it. You had to make a choice to swipe that card. You're locking in to go to space, the edge of the atmosphere. And I'm locking in to freaking save money for my next month's rent. Well, nobody listens to your music anymore, except the shit from 15 years ago. But first, you lost your spot on the charts. And now you're losing gravity too, girl. Consistency. Girl, how dare you? You did nothing out there. You did not explore anything. You floated around a little bubble with your girls and you came back down. You could have done that in a cryo chamber in Turks and Caicos or something. Quietly, like all of your albums when they didn't hit the chart, girl. Because, girl, this ain't a space mission. This is an over-budget music video for music nobody asked for. Hot and cold? More like lukewarm and forgotten. Nobody talks about your shit anymore, so you gotta get on Ozempic, lose 40 pounds, and fly up to space. Girl, go to your backyard, your mansion, and stare at the sun and record it. You cannot be this dense. You cannot be this dense when you can open up a device with everything from the world on it, any kind of knowledge at your fingertips, and learn something.
This is why we can't have nice things. As well as this.
What you're doing in space is trying to make things better here on Earth. What Blue Origin wants to do is take the waste here and figure out a way to put it in space to make our planet cleaner. I mean, Jeff Bezos has so many ideas, and the people that are working...
Straight from the mouth of Gayle, we're trying to take the waste, all the waste from our Earth, to other planets. That's why they sent a Singer, other stars out into space for 11 minutes. Because we need to figure out where to put this trash. But also, guys, this is why we can't have nice things. This is why the aliens don't want to fuck with us. This is why they're not hanging out with us. This is why they're not calling us. This is why we don't have any, you know what? Yeah, they see what we're doing. They're like, they're like, yeah, no, let's check out the next planet. These guys are not it. These guys are not it. They literally saw our little phallic thing and they're like, yo, don't say hi to them. Don't say hi to them. You can't sit with us. This is why.
So Auntie got on national morning news doing all that crying and hooping and hollering, talking about going to space, and all you did was spend 10 minutes up there. You had us holding up the prayer request line, and all you did was spend 10 minutes up there. That's like a ride on the roller coaster at Cal Wins. Girl, they had us thinking that they was going to spend the whole weekend up there. Y'all spent all the 10 minutes. Listen, I waited in line for food longer than that. The whole time, all they did was take a little joyride to space. Listen, you would have thought there was some astronauts that they left up there that they just brought back home not too long ago. So correction, y'all, 10 minutes was the actual commute to get them up there. They only spent like 60 seconds up there. So the whole time you had me on the prayer request line praying for y'all safety, because you look like you didn't even want to go to begin with. Girl, you look like you needed to blink twice for help. It looked like they was forcing you to go, but that's neither here or there. You had me wasting our time, God's time, and all y'all did was spend 60 seconds up there. Moral of the story is, just don't be taking no joyrides to space, wasting everybody's time. All y'all did was spend 60 seconds.
On a very serious note, Katy Perry going to space and the way that she's acting around it kind of reminds me of this concept I've been thinking about a lot, which is that having a spiritual personality, that doesn't mean actually being spiritual, but taking on the personality or the mask of spirituality, and being rich is kind of a dangerous combination, because then you kind of fall into this constant delusion that everything that you're able to acquire that's of your deepest desire is like ordained by God or like a part of a spiritual practice. And again, imagine how dangerous it is to be somebody who truly believes that everything is a sign from God, that you were destined to be here, but being able to buy that, being able to buy the privilege of just going anywhere and getting what you want and then deciding that God gave it to you. Like, that's literally how the Crusades happened. You know what I mean? Like, you didn't manifest that, mama. You paid for it.
With Katy Perry barely being relevant since 2016, you going into space is not going to make me care any more about you than I barely already did when I was 15 years old. And this is no shade to the Katy Perry fans, but if you're defending someone that is actively shooting billions of emissions up into space, when we are at the pinnacle of understanding of how our climate is crumbling before our very eyes, then I pity you just as much as I pity her. Fact is, not caring about the climate crisis is not going to make it not exist. And I know for a fact some of you have children or want to have children. How can you justify bringing them into this God-forsaken world? The exact same way that if this was Elon Musk, people would be rolling their eyes. You need to start to have this amount of disdain for celebrities. You need to. Because at the end of the day, defending someone that wouldn't even spit on the same ground that you walk on, let alone try to preserve the same planet that we all share, is not exactly something that you want to put on your resume. Grow a backbone, please. Grow some self-respect. And if this whole thing turns out to be some crazy stunt, then this was some tone-deaf bitch-ass stunt. Because hello, we have 30 minutes on this planet.
And then my question is, have y'all been to space? Have you been to space?
No, Gail, I haven't been to space yet, but soon. Don't worry. Right now, like, I'm practicing something that's really important in my soul. And it's like the ability to afford eggs. I know, crazy. And then once I get there, then I'll definitely go in my like practicing for my Uber joyride for like 11 minutes into space. Like once I put out enough pollution, then I know that like I'm ready to go to space. But I haven't been yet, like maybe one day. But I have been practicing. You're so hypnotizing. Could you be the devil? Could you be an angel? Your touch magnetizing. Feels like I am floating. You're from a whole other world. A different dimension. You open your eyes. And I'm ready to go. Lead me into the light. Or whatever it is, like with the flower that Katy Perry obviously took to space because that's what helped her in space. So I've been practicing, like, you know, this is what you guys did as a crew, but you were passengers. So I took the steps, you know, to be up in space.
I feel like there is so many nuances to this, female crew going into space for 10, 11 minutes. I feel like there's a lot going on, and they just like a lot of things just keep coming up that people keep getting pissed at the fact that that money was spent on them to just go get a bragging right. Literally, that was what somebody said yesterday, and it literally just stuck in my head because number one, they're not real astronauts, and now they said they're calling them astronauts. People are saying the fact that the comment they have even been having after that sounded like they're making it like be very empowering, especially to women. They said this is not doing what you all thought it was going to do. The country, the economy is collapsing, and this is what the billionaires decided to use their money to do. There were some few comments, like I mentioned yesterday, of some people saying, you all should not be angry at what billionaires decide to use their money to do. How can you tell people what to do with their money? Now, two people can be right at the same time. I strongly stand on that. I feel like Katy Perry's reaction is just getting people so pissed the most because there's just a lot of drama, like a lot of drama. What is the point of putting a flower into the into the hair and then coming down to kiss the ground? Like, why are you kissing the ground? Like, people are just so pissed at all of the drama and as well the speech that they have been having following that, and as well the song. When Gilly King said that was favorite part of the entire trip, people said, we are aware you don't want to be there, because the videos of you we saw is literally your face being so uninterested and someone who is just pushed to it. There was even a meme of somebody saying, if I send you a face of this Gillian King, just know I'm going to do it, but I don't want to do it. Like, people are having a bunch of reactions. The whole conversations and speech that these people have been giving since then, and even Katy Perry saying she's now interested in STEM. Like, people are not having it. Like, none of that. People are not having it. This person said, Katy Perry once asked Neil Tyson if math had anything to do with science, and now she is saying that she is interested in STEM. Another person said, I beg to differ. They demonstrated that hair extensions, fake lashes, and lip fillers do not collapse for at least 9 minutes in space. Yeah, that's science. Another person said the fact that they tried to market this as a feminist milestone is crazy but not surprising. It's just rich people doing rich people shit. Another person said hilarious, they are calling them a crew, an astronaut, when they all just took a ride. Just like you take a ride at, ferry wheels, you just go to a park, just take those adventurous ride. This is what this feels like, right? Only one of them was an actual rocket scientist. But yes, a joke. I think the scientist is the woman from Bahamas. I think it must be a test run for when the rich destroy the Earth and ditch the flames to bring death to another planet. Why are they just going up and down? This is a false flag of using feminism. People are not here for it. People are still angry. People are still reacting. People are still furious. And I saw a comment in my last video, someone saying it is the leaves that are angry. No, it's not just the leaves. I have been following the conversation, and even so many of us palm-colored people are pissed at the fact that this is what they are doing during this time that the economy is literally collapsing. Let me hear what you guys think about this whole conversation. If you have been following the conversation and if you're just coming across it as well, let me hear what you think about the whole thing and what people are saying about all of this. Thank you all so much for being here. I am going to see you guys in the next one.